Sujata Paul? Namaste,
Well,
ladies. Namaste. Please go ahead.
yes, the Prime Minister of India, or rather the Prime Minister of BJP, can go and meet anybody wherever he feels like. Well, if he was meeting Jeremy Corbyn, and and they have a problem with Jeremy Corbyn's views, which all of us should have as a nation, then you cannot take the excuse that he was the leader of the opposition. In fact, India should have taken a stand that being the leader of opposition, he was taking an anti-India stand, and therefore the Indian government refused to meet him. Xi Jinping, do you remember him
No, but,
jhuloing the
but
jhula?
Sujata ji, one or two things as you complete your arguments, and very respectfully. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you may like him or dislike him as an individual, but he's the Prime Minister of the country. He's not Prime Minister of the BJP. So that statement is unwarranted and disrespectful. I request you not to do that again. Secondly, ma'am, in 2015 when he was leader opposition, just now if you had been hearing what my colleague Sanjay Suri was saying, he's also our correspondent down in Britain. He lives in the United Kingdom. He was very clear that the truth about Jeremy Corbyn's thought process came to the fore only in the last 2 or 3 years. The kind of comments that he's made challenging India's sovereignty, backing the enemy state that is busy wanting to plot various ways of bleeding India with 1,000 cuts. All of this has happened in the last 2 or 3 years. It didn't happen in 2015. He was very clearly elucidating all the details. Had you paid a patient ear, you wouldn't have made that argument. I'm giving you
No,
one more opportunity to kindly refine your argument and make it again before I go to Anuja Kapur. Go ahead, please.
you cannot ask me to tell you what you want me to say, right?
No,
And you might.
I'm just requesting you. I'm not asking you to say what I want you to say. I'm saying, had you heard my colleague's arguments and his facts, stating out the facts, would you want to refine your argument? I'm asking you, and please go ahead.
You know, when you talk about the Prime Minister has proved time and again that he is not inclusive, not an inclusive Prime Minister. He does not take everybody along. He might say something, but he does not take everybody along with him. His only job is to have a troll army that targets Rahul Gandhi. Is Rahul Gandhi the Prime Minister? He's an individual. And if he is meeting somebody first, he shouldn't have a problem with that. The BJP shouldn't have a problem with that. But I'm sorry, you might not agree with the word, but I believe the word idiot merely means murk. So idiots like Kapil Mishra and Shehzad Poonawala, if they cannot understand that, that is their problem. But this becoming an issue, I understand for them it is their dihadi. But is it a dihadi for the media also that you target Rahul Gandhi on
No,
this issue?
wait,
There are important, just a second, let me please complete.
please, please.
There are more important issues, Mr. Narasimhan, in the country which need our attention today. But what are we doing? We are talking about Rahul Gandhi, who is neither the chief minister nor has been a minister of any government, and we are targeting him on meeting somebody in the UK who has anti-India views. I would like to ask you, do you remember Vice President of US Kamala Harris and the President also giving us gyan and giving our Prime Minister gyan on democracy? We didn't appreciate it, right? Because for us it was an insult to our Prime Minister. We can say whatever we want to our Prime Minister, and it's not about hating Narendra Modi as a person. He is our Prime Minister, and we can say what we want to because we consider him our Prime Minister. So, you know, the defense that you keep taking that you might hate him is absolutely silly, if I may say so.
Well, no,
But
you are entitled to your opinion, Sujata Paul, but the fact of the matter is he's an elected member of parliament. He's
that's
somebody
fine.
who's sitting on international. No, no, please hear me out. I heard you out. He's somebody who's sitting on and advising and talking foreign policy. He's somebody who's claiming to champion the cause of the country. He's an Indian citizen who's representing the country in whatever office and capacity when he goes abroad. He may be a private citizen and he may have done a private meeting, but when he puts it out on a public platform, and that too from the Congress party's platform, then it becomes a matter of importance. It has been put out from the overseas Congress party's platform, this picture, and the claim of meeting this person who has taken a position which is anti-India in the last 2 or 3 years. Jeremy Corbyn right now has got no importance. In 2015, he was leader opposition. He was a
No,
strong member of the Labour Party. In 2022, he's been ousted by the Labour Party and is a persona non grata for them too. So that's the reality in terms of the facts. So that is the reason why. And that is the reason why. And this is somebody who just the other day was trying to wax eloquent and even question about India's foreign policy and India's changing, shifting posture in terms of to the world. And he was put in his place by the foreign minister himself, Dr. Subramaniam Jayashankar. So there are aspects. So when somebody takes on a position and a role model, they then suddenly don't become private citizens and become a persona non grata. And had this post been from his private handle, it would have been a different matter. It has come from the official overseas Congress party's handle. That's where this has been put. So let's put the facts out here as you made your argument. Now let Anuja Kapur come in. Yes, Anuja ji. The question that's being asked is, if the PM can meet Jeremy Corbyn, why can't Rahul Gandhi? What's the big deal?
So first of all, I would like to talk about Sujata ji, who herself is a puppet of a pappu, and talking about she's claiming idiots
I am again
of the
once again
BJP.
going to say this.
She does not
I am going to say one thing. My point is, ma'am, you can take jibes at each other, but this is all of us. Please, Anuja ji, very respectfully, I'm going to tell, just like I told Sujata Paul also. Please make arguments. Let's not get personal and let's not take jibes at each other. Let's not do that. We can all rise above such kind of discourse and such kind of choice of vocabulary and choice of words, and we can erase those in our lexicon. We can do that. We have all got the ability. I have told Sujata Paul ji the same thing. I'm going to request you also the same. Yes, Anuja ji, please go ahead.
So when we talk about Congress, we talk about the Rahul Gandhi, who does not even understand the ABCD of India's integrity and the sovereignty. What happens is when he goes out, he gets very overexcited about himself because he's nowhere standing in India. So he starts meeting people around and he starts questioning the integrity of the CAA, NRC, surgical strike, Pulwama attack, Kargil war, Article 370, Article 350, hijab, Bible in the education curriculum, exodus and migration of the Kashmiri Pandits, delimitation exercise in Jammu and Kashmir, vaccination drive, Delhi rights, and many more. He himself, I don't know what happens to him. He just starts getting above India. And then he's starting talking about it. India is not a country. So look at the psychology of this person who stays in India, who's a part of an INC, and he's nothing in INC, but he still goes out in the capacity and he speaks ill about India on the public forum, and he insults the Prime Minister of India. And the very well, as you have also said, the people believe that Modi ji is the Prime Minister of BJP and not of India. That is the problem of Congress. And
no, but the Congress party is entitled to its Congress party is entitled to its opinion about the political leadership and those that they consider their opposition politically. Anuja ji, like Sujata Paul said, as an Indian citizen, she has the right to criticize her prime minister and her position. I only requested her not to be disrespectful of the prime minister's office. You can be critical of an individual, but not to be disrespectful of the prime minister's office. That was my request to her. The other point that you are coming out and saying is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has a key role that's been assigned. He and his sister have been assigned to two varied roles in the redefined path ahead for 2024 and also sorting out the party matters, and he's a key critical component of the Congress party. And like I said, this is not a private post. It's a post made by the overseas Congress party handle, and that's the reason why the question is being asked. We've got to take a very short break. Anuja Kapur and Sujata Paul, thank you very much.